Welcome to the MontCAS Test Security and Data Integrity video series. The purpose of this video is to provide the viewer with an overview of the three types of assessments which create a balanced assessment system. This video will explore these three objectives so the viewer can complete this training with the following understandings. Knowing how these three assessment types fit into the MontCAS program and how you can leverage them at your school to support student outcomes. Most everyone is familiar with the kind of diagnostic or autopsy assessments after the fact or after the learning has taken place. Summative assessment is an evaluation tool that is used by states, district schools, administrators, educators, and parents to track progress towards educational goals based on grade and content standards. Summative assessments describe student achievement, examine student improvement, address achievement gaps and student equity, and inform programs, policy, and statewide accountability systems. What is the purpose of the summative? It is to help the state and schools monitor achievement over time in relation to the state goals and content standards. What is the summative used for? Here are some things that summative assessments are designed to do. Help the state and school districts comply with the federal year-end required assessments for accountability, comply with state and federal law, provide a measure of student achievement on a data point in time that is comparable across groups, schools, and counties, show us growth or progress over time, provide evidence of students' attainment of the college and career-ready standards, since these assessments must be aligned to standards. Provide evidence of program success and educational equities within or across schools. When is the summative given? Most often it's given at the end of a curricular unit or course, or annually at the same time each school year, such as an end of unit or chapter, end of semester, or end of year. Is the summative required? Yes, the summative is required. Who uses the summative, or who are the data consumers? It is used by the states, district schools, administrators, educators, parents, and students. What is the format of the test? It is administered in school by schools via paper or computers for math, reading language arts, and science. What are some Montana examples of the summative? Access or WIDA, ACT with writing, MSA and alternate MSA, MSAA, NAEP, and SBAC. Remember that state summative tests alone cannot provide the necessary information. We need other measures. Interim assessment is a benchmarking tool that is used strategically by schools, administrators, educators, parents, and students periodically throughout the school year to measure student grade subject proficiency of the Montana content standards, to predict future performance on summative assessments, and to provide feedback to teachers to inform classroom instruction. What is the purpose of the interim? The purpose is to help schools and teachers monitor students' progress towards learning the Montana content standards. What is the interim used for? Here are some things that interim assessments are designed to do. These are optional periodic predictive assessments. They can help predict future performance on summative assessments. They provide feedback to teachers to inform classroom instruction. The difference between the summative and the interim is how they are used and what interpretations or actions are drawn from them. They establish a baseline where students are starting to determine readiness and preparedness. They identify patterns in learning for particular students or groups of students to support them with their learning. They identify strengths and weaknesses to target interventions and instructional strategies. When is the interim given? It is given periodically or intermittent, most often at the end of a quarter or semester or a midpoint of a curricular unit. Results are generally received in enough time to affect instruction in the same school year. Is the interim required? No, it is optional. Who uses the interims, or who are the data consumers? It is used by districts and schools, administrators, educators, parents, and students. What is the format of the test? It is free, flexible, and content-aligned tests given by the district or school periodically throughout the school year. What are some examples of the interims? Smarter Balanced Interim Comprehensive Assessments and Interim Assessment Blocks, Pre-ACT, MAPS, STAR, etc. Formative assessment is a deliberate process used by teachers and students during instruction that provides actionable feedback used to adjust ongoing teaching and learning strategies and improves students' attainment of curricular learning targets and goals. What is the purpose of formative? The purpose is to help teachers adjust instruction to meet the learning needs and gaps of students. What is the formative used for? Recognize students struggling, address problems immediately, apply interventions and supports. When is the formative given? It is frequent and could be as often as daily. Is the formative required? No, it is optional. Who uses the formative, or who are the data consumers? It is used by educators, parents, and students. What is the format of the test? It is paper or online. What are some Montana examples of the formative? The digital library has collections of thousands of educator-created strategies and resources to provide free and flexible tools for classroom use, such as pre-tests, readiness checks, exit slips, muddiest point, KWL, etc. Again, formative isn't an it is a process. Now that you've watched video 2, please take a moment to complete these H5P questions before we move on to the next concepts.